What happens when a person lives someone else's life? There is one question most people are afraid to ask themselves, not because it's difficult, but because the answer can rush everything they've spent years building. The question is simple. Is this really my life? Not your parents', not society's, not the image of a successful person promoted by ads and social media. Yours, the one you would choose if no one were watching, if you didn't have to justify yourself to anyone, if you had never been told what is acceptable or unacceptable. Most people reach 35, 40, 50, and only then begin to suspect that something went wrong. Not catastrophically, not suddenly, but quietly, almost invisibly, millimeter by millimeter, they handed over their right to live to someone else. And now they exist inside чужой scenario, like an actor who has learned the script but never stepped onto their own stage. This video is not about quitting everything and moving to Bali. It's about honestly asking, who is actually in control of your life? And what happens to a person when the answer is not them? What is the false self, and how does it form? In psychology, there is a concept called the false self, introduced by British psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott in the mid-20th century. Today, it's more relevant than ever. The false self is not a mask you consciously put on. It runs deeper. It's an entire system of beliefs, values, goals, and reactions formed not from within, but from the outside, from fear, from the need to be accepted, from the pain of rejection. It begins in childhood. A child is born with authentic impulses. They want what they want, fear what they fear, feel joy in what truly brings them joy. That is the true self, alive, spontaneous, unedited. But very quickly, the child learns not all of this is welcome. Mom frowns when you get angry. Dad ignores you when you don't achieve results. A teacher praises only the quiet and obedient. A grandmother says, "Don't cry, you're a boy." Classmates laugh at what you genuinely like. And the child makes the most logical conclusion available. To be loved, I have to be different. Hide what isn't approved, display what is praised, become convenient. This isn't weakness, it's survival. A child cannot exist without the love and acceptance of adults. That's biological. So adapting to expectations is a rational response to threat. The problem is, this mechanism doesn't switch off when the child grows up. It keeps running, quietly, automatically, and the adult continues living by rules learned at 5, 8, 12 years old without even realizing they are rules. They believe this is who they are. Part 2. What does life in someone else's script look like? Let's get concrete. Living someone else's life isn't always about being forced into a profession you hate. It's subtler and more pervasive. The parent script. Steady economics, it's stable. Music is not a real career. Get married while you're young. A man must provide. Everything else is unserious. A person follows these instructions, chooses the right university, the right career, builds a family at the right time. From the outside, everything looks normal, even admirable. Inside, emptiness. Because it was never their life. It was a gift to their parents, received as something expected, not something to be thanked for. The societal script. Harder to detect because it isn't imposed by one person, it's everywhere. A successful person must have a career, property, a car, travel, aesthetic photos, the right body, the right relationships, the right hobbies. Be productive, keep growing, never stand still. So the person runs fast without asking, where am I running and why? Do I want this, or do I want others to see that I have it? The partner script. One of the most painful. A person adapts to a partner's desires, values, interests until they lose themselves. They no longer know what food they like, what music they enjoy, who they want to be friends with. All of it is gradually replaced by what the other prefers. The good person script. The most deceptive. A person tries their whole life to be kind, helpful, accommodating, conflict-free. They believe these are their values. In reality, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of seeming selfish. Such a person doesn't live from desire, but from fear. They help not because they want to, but because they're afraid to say no. Their kindness is not virtue, it's a prison. Part 3. Symptoms. How to know you're living the wrong life. Chronic fatigue without a physical cause. You sleep enough, your health is fine, yet you feel constantly drained. This isn't laziness. It's the cost of living against your true nature. Feeling like an actor in your own life. You function, say the right things, do what's expected, but it doesn't feel like yours. As if your real self exists somewhere else. You can't answer, "What do I want?" Not what's right or socially approved, what you truly want. Many people freeze or answer using someone else's wording. Irritation without a clear reason. It's accumulated frustration from a life that doesn't align with your inner truth. Envy as a compass. You don't envy people, you envy the freedom or courage they embody. That's a map of your suppressed desires. Success brings no joy. You reach your goals and feel nothing because the goal was never truly yours. Fear of being alone with yourself. Silence becomes unbearable because it reveals what you've been avoiding. Relationships based on obligation, not choice. You stay because you should, not because you want to. The body sends signals. Chronic tension, sleep issues, psychosomatic symptoms. The body often expresses what the mind suppresses. Real life will start later, after the project, after the kids grow up, after retirement. But later never comes. Part 4. What happens inside? Disconnection from self. Feelings are numbed, not just pain, but joy. Chronic anxiety. Constant fear of not being enough. Identity crisis. Remove the roles and nothing remains. Depression. Not weakness, but exhaustion from living чужі. Compensation. Addictions, overwork, distractions, ways to escape the inner void. Part 5. Why is it so hard to break free? Because the false self feels like you, because change means loss, approval, relationships, certainty, because society rewards conformity, because the unknown is more frightening than familiar discomfort. Part 6. What can you do? Start noticing without judgment. Ask, is this coming from desire or fear? Reclaim small choices. What do you want to eat, listen to, do today? Allow inconvenient desires to exist. You don't have to act on them, but don't silence them. Look for moments when you feel truly alive. They are clues pointing back to yourself. And sometimes seek help, not to be told who to be, but to hear yourself clearly. There's an old parable. A man spent his whole life being who others wanted him to be. A good son, a reliable worker, a proper husband. At the end, he was asked what he regretted. He said, "That I never found out who I could have been if I had allowed myself to find out." Living someone else's life is not a tragedy. It's a mistake, and it can be corrected at any moment. At 30, at 50, at 70. But it starts with one thing: honesty. Not harsh, punishing honesty, but quiet and clear. Something is off. This life isn't fully mine, and I want to find my own. That's not selfishness. That's courage. Because to live your own life means to take responsibility for it. And that is far more frightening than hiding behind expectations. But it's the only way to one day say, I lived my life, a real one, my own. And that is worth any price. If this video resonated, like and subscribe, not because you should, but because you want to. And check out the other videos on the channel. See you in the next one.